Hello. I'm going to show you this GuineaLoft Cage today and show you the setup process. I purchased the 4x2 and the map. I'm not going to be using disposable ones. I just don't really want to have to buy replacements. I'll be able to wipe it out. I'll use some either fleece liners or bedding on top, no big deal. The other thing you can use at the bottom if you want to cover this up with something else to protect it is use, it's like the stuff that they make political signs out of. They actually give you a few liners, so I will try these at first because why not? Wet wipes for the acrylic, and then we've got our directions. I like that it comes in a nice small box. That probably reduces how much you end up spending on shipping, which I like. I did find ordering to be a little bit confusing in terms of trying to decide what I wanted and how tall everything would be if I did 2 levels. So I ended up doing 1 level instead of 2 because I just couldn't work myself past figuring out like how tall it would be. It sounds like whatever the height of the 1 level is, it'll be the second 2 levels would be twice the height, I assume. We've got our brackets. I like that this will fold up in a small space for when I'm not using it, because my plan is to use this specifically for when our guinea pigs are indoors for the winter. Most of my guinea pigs are outside. They have a shed. It's nice and comfy, but I have a couple that are getting older and a couple that are not as hairy. So I want to keep them indoors. So this will help me manage that. I was hoping to get something a little bigger, but I figured I'd order this, see how I like it before I commit to buying a second level or a second one. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so this is pretty simple. You've got your flat brackets for the flat sections. You got your corner brackets for the corners. I would go ahead and do your corners first just to help yourself out. It'll be a little easier to have it all propped up. And I think it's probably not going to be super complicated to figure out. I'm going to eyeball the directions really quick and show you what I got. Okay, so the corner brackets go on the inside, but the screws screw in from the outside. They screw in very easily, really not complicated. Make sure you're using the hand screwdriver and not a drill. It tends to strip things for something like this. It's not meant to be done with a mechanical drill. The thing to remember when you're putting these together is that this section is your bottom and this is your top, and that's to keep your guinea pigs from kicking their poop out and their hay out all day, but you're still getting ventilation up here, and of course, if you don't have a top on, up here as well. So just make sure they're all in the same order. You can always flip them upside down if you're not completely finished, but if you have one up and one down, you're going to get messed up. Yeah. Okay, so I've got the 2 sides. I've got those 2 sides. I've got all the corners done, or I haven't done those 2 sides, sorry. The one thing to note is that they give you this thing, didn't know what this was. You're supposed to scratch off the covering, which I realized after. However, I may actually keep the protective cover on the 3 sides and then take it off on the front. But it's not too big a deal if there's a little bit of acrylic behind it. But whoops. But keeping it on in the back probably wouldn't be an awful idea because it'll protect the acrylic and keep it from getting scratched up. It wouldn't be a bad thing to have them have one dark side just so they have less scaries. I find that guinea pigs tend to be pretty nervous, and having full visibility of everything isn't necessarily the most awesome for them. So having 3 sides that are not like open to the world isn't a bad thing, but it does peel right off afterwards. It's just easier to do it before you put them all together. Okay, so I got this all up. I have the mat. This is going to lay down. I'm just going to scooch it underneath and then attach it. It looks like the paper thing is supposed to go on the outside, and you clip this over it. This is going to be my main complaint and thing that I think they could fix and make a little bit better, but I find that to be really annoying to have to clip all these back in every time you change. If you have guinea pigs, you know they poop in astronomical amounts, so you're cleaning pretty frequently. Changing out this thing is going to be a pain. Now, I could sit it right in here. It does fit inside, or I can use a fleece mat inside, and that would be perfect. It would fit. It would be great. So those are some options. I would rather do that and do the laundry than try to have to unclip this every time, particularly as, at least if I want my kids helping out, they're going to have a low frustration tolerance, lower than mine, and mine's pretty poor because I don't want to unclip these every time. So I would probably lean away from using this on the outside, but it will lay on the inside. It just is a little bit too big for the inside section. Not a big deal. They might chew it. I don't know if it makes a difference. It should be guinea pig safe, hopefully. So anyways, I hope that was helpful. I'm going to get this together and I'll show you the final setup. Okay, so there it is. Obviously, got to put some bedding in here. This is not going to do. You got to have bedding in there too, or fleece bedding or whatever you want to soak up urine. Otherwise, you know, your waterproof mat's only so good as it can be. Waterproof does not mean it is a bucket. Yeah, so gonna put some bedding in here or fleece bedding, I'm not sure. Set up their water and feed and hay. And move a couple girlies in here and see how they like it. And I've got some barley mats growing for them too. Hope this was helpful. Thanks so much. Take care. Let me know if you have any questions.